Hey y'all, we're in Genesis chapter 10, reading the Bible all the way through, and today we're going to discuss the table of nations. Not the table of contents, the table of nations, where all nations and nationalities branched from the seed of Noah. I'm just going to get right to the good stuff. We want to know what happened with the grandson who molested Noah, and we want to know what happened later on with that curse, right? Well, let's just jump right into the good stuff. That was Canaan. And later on, we're going to read about Sodom and Gomorrah and how God destroyed it because it became a whole nation of who Canaan was. And that wasn't the design for God's creation. In fact, I don't want to jump the gun, but it's going to get so dirty where you had a group of people like back in the day when they used to riot black people's houses. It used to be like a whole lynch mob of them. You had a whole lynch mob of people trying to rape two angels. And after that happened, God destroyed it. So that's what happened with Canaan's lineage. Canaan had a brother and his name was the Miz. Anybody watch wrestling? Mizraim, I don't know. I can't pronounce it. I'm not a theologian and I didn't go to school for this. I'm just reading the Bible. But I think the Miz deserves an honorable mention because that's where the Philistines branched from. And even if we're not super familiar with our Bible, we know that David battled a Philistine. His name was, I should look at y'all like Dora the Explorer when she be blinking. That's right, it was Goliath. And then another brother was Cush. I think the more interesting thing about Cush wasn't necessarily him, but it was who he begot. And Cush begot Nimrod. Nimrod was known as the hunter of men. He was almost like the first king. But the part that really got me with Nimrod was how he tried to not just outdo God, but check this out. This cat tried to pay God back for flooding the earth. So when we mentioned last time about the people building a big tower to reach heaven and then God came down and confused their language, well, that happened in the city of Babylon, and that's where the term Babel came from. People just babbling on and not really saying a whole bunch of nothing. It's kind of a language of confusion, or where the different languages originated from. God was like, these fools can do this much together, build a tower, literally trying to reach the heavens. Well, we gonna have to do something to make them not as strong when they work together. We're gonna have to confuse their language. And I love the fact that I'm saying we, because God was never alone. It was always him, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. But that's getting way besides the point. I don't want to get off track. Let's get back on. So that's it basically in Genesis 10. It talks about the table of nations, or all of the different nationalities that branched from Noah's descent. And as always, we want to apply what we learned. And what I learned was God kept his promise, and Canaan's descendants did not get away with the sexual assault that he did to his grandfather Noah. And two, I don't care how strong or mighty you think you are, even if you're a king or a giant, which Nimrod was, but God is always more powerful. And if you try to influence people to think that if we just work together, or if you follow me, we can build a system or a tower high enough to reach heaven and attack God himself. Well, I think that's why the name Nimrod now means an inept or clumsy, stupid person. Because that's what God did to Nimrod when he tried to pull it. Alright everybody, that's today's message. And if you like what you heard, then give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to keep it alive. Now that's what's up. Thanks for watching. Because that's where the feelings think.